Hours after US President Barack Obama hit at an opposition leader for asking the US government to act tough on Jubilee administration.
Are you ready?
Code principals and NARC Kenya leader Martha Karua have come out to defend their meeting, saying it dwelled on issues captured in Okoa Kenya referendum bill.
Kwa furaha tele alibainisha wazi kwamba alieleza viongozi wa upinzani ama mmoja wao wa upinzani kwa hivi kwa roho safi ambayo imeeleweka vibaya na wenzetu wapinzani wetu. Kwa hivyo nadhani kwamba hiyo haifai.
Hata mkiona sisi tunapinga, saa nyingine tunapinga tuko sababu tunaona kwamba kuna uharibifu.
CORD claims its meeting with the US president focused mainly on problems facing the democratic space in the country and changes needed for Kenya to realize a level playing field for all political actors without touching on the shortcomings of the government.
We went as a delegation, so it doesn't matter what was said by who or by what. We went as a delegation, owned that space and that conversation, and therefore his response to whatever he responded to, we took it in our stride and we respect that opinion.
But a look at the past exposed the coalition of reforms and democracy to the US president, who stood his ground during a meeting with civil society at Kenyatta University, vowing that his administration will work with the duly elected government of the day.
I met with some of the opposition leaders very briefly, those who are not in government, after the speech. And I told them, you have a legally elected government, and we're going to work with that government. But we're also always going to be listening to all elements of Kenyan society. It was funny, though, that one of the opposition leaders, I won't mention who, was saying, we really need you to press the Kenyan government on some issues. And I had to say to him, I said, I remember when you were in government, you kept on saying, are you trying to interfere with Kenya's business? You should mind your own business. So everybody wants the United States to be very involved when they're not in power, and when they're in power, they want the United States to mind their own business. I think the way that we are going to operate is just to continue to be honest. And
in 2009, for instance, CORD Principal Moses Wetangula, as Foreign Affairs Minister, hit out at U.S. Assistant Secretary of State for African Affairs Johnny Carson and former American Ambassador to Kenya Michael Ranneberger for what he termed as interference by the U.S. government in running off Kibaki's government.
The meddlesome attitude that we are seeing from our friends, the Americans. It is with regret that an assistant minister of a friendly country walks into our country uninvited, makes fairly unacceptable and reckless statements, and then leaves. It is not right. I have commented on this before. I have told you that diplomacy expects some certain minimum acceptable standards of behavior.
In the same year, Raila Odinga as Prime Minister and Kalonzo Musyoka as Vice President dismissed comments by the US Embassy the Grand Coalition government was not serious in setting up a local mechanism to try suspects of post-election violence.